Hello, hello. Hi, Mary. Hi, Liz. Just getting it on my phone. Oops, I can see what's going on there. Right. Hi, Jane. Hi, Mark. Peter, good evening. Hello, Susan. Hi, Cheryl. Just going to clean my glasses. I should do that before, shouldn't I? So that I can see the screen. Hi, Ellie. Hi, Tony. Hi, Jerry. You new, Jerry? You may have been here once before. Welcome if you're new. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Vera from Perth. I think you have been here before, Vera. Hi, Anita. Hello, Sue. Wait for a few more to come on. Hi, Rebecca. Hello. Haven't seen you for a while, I don't think. Hope things are good. Hi, Yvonne. Hi, Kerry. Hi, Karen. Linda. Karen. Another Karen. I don't know if the screen looks a bit smoky, and it looks a bit funny in the background because I've got a quilt over a quilt because I just hung up the finished Mayotte Road over the finished Tassie Trip there instead of taking it down. So anyway, you can see it's all finished. Finished, unpicked, requilted, put together, bound, finish. Hi, Marilyn. Hi, Cheryl. So sorry, that's in the background there. Other than that, it might look a bit smoky because Shed Guy's out tonight and I had to cook my own dinner. Having said that, he did prep all the vegetables and had everything out ready for me. But, you know, being me, I always think I can do two things at once. So I put some oil on to heat in the wok and thought I'd just pop in and turn one thing on. But, you know, by the time I got out there, the whole house is filled with smoke. Luckily, it didn't catch fire. But I'm actually, this front room, it's can't open any windows to let it out. So I am breathing in and breathing in smoke. Lucky probably, but we won't tell him that. We won't tell him that I can't survive without him cooking my dinner. Hi, Fiona, you're at work. Hi, Susan. Yeah, I'm pleased with it. I've washed it and blocked it, and it's pretty straight. Learn a few things along the way that I'll add to the instructions not to do, for you not to do. Getting Simply Charm choices. Has your payment already been done, Marilyn? If it has, some people automatically got their emails today, but Joe's actually been off sick the last few days. So the ones that she manually puts through will be waiting till she gets back. But if you've already been charged, I know there's lots today that the automation actually has worked, and they've automatically got their emails to choose because I forgot to turn on the rule about free shipping, so they let me know. So there's so many steps to the Simply Charmed every month. I think I've got it all right, and I get Joe to test it, and she misses things and I do it again, and then I miss things. So yes, okay, all good. Yeah, so she might be back tomorrow. We'll see. Hi, Christine. Hi, Wendy. Yeah, they should have charged. They either charged yesterday or today. So I saw it like hundreds come through today, and of course Joe's not there to tick them off. So Dana was holding the fort on her own. Hi, Gwen. Hi, Chris. So yeah, and she didn't have time or the knowledge to do that. We haven't trained her in that part. Even though she made the quilt for me, she can't get all the way through the process. Yeah, hopefully she'll get well soon. I think Sandra had it, or her son had it last week, and then Sandra in the shop had it over the weekend, and now Joe's got it. Hi, Maureen. Hi, Vicky. All right, so we've got a few here. Hi, Leona. A few here. Yep. Why isn't that working there? All right, so my gin of the week, even though every time I breathe in to talk to you, I feel like I'm choking on smoke. is Loreni, the 1818 settlers gin. Loreni is up past New Norfolk towards not Cradle Mountain, up towards Queenstown and Tarraleah. Hi, Cindy. Welcome home. So you must only have a week before you're on the boat down here, maybe. Getting close. Time to wash the sheets and get back in. I'm assuming you took the van up north. You didn't fly up there. So anyway, so this is Loreni. It's just, let me see what it says. Loreni Estate Distillery, Lyle Highway, Ooze. The 1818 settlers gin embodied the strength and character of those who came to colonise the Loreni land area. Bold juniper comes through both only on the nose and the palate, as herbal notes from the property's own rosemary intertwine with the freshness of caraway, all bolstered by the warming spice of pimento berry and cassia bark. The 1818 settlers has a mild smokiness not usually associated with gin, from a careful blend of the intense botanical brown cardamom that graces the finish without dominating the dried fruit notes below. Well, I can tell you it just tastes like gin. I can taste the juniper, but I can't taste all those other things in there. So I'm not going to be a gin snob tonight. Hi, Andrea. Kick the visitors out. Well done. So on the 7th, yeah, so not too long. Cherry gin last night. Oh, I popped that cherry. Oh dear, that would have given you a nice night's sleep. The cherry's the best bit. So I've just got it with a little bit of lemon off my lemon tree. Finally got some lemons I can pick off my tree. And that's quite nice, quite refreshing. The smokiness flavour, I'm not sure is from in there. I think it's more from the room. All right. So what have I got to show you tonight? I always say there's not a huge amount, but we're revisiting old things. First of all, I remembered to bring what I left downstairs last week. So that was the toy fill, which is 100% pure wool, which, yes, you can use for toys. Hi, Angela. But I ordered this version because you can get cotton and you can get bamboo. And you can get poly cotton or something, poly and wool, a mix. But I've got the wool, so we can use it in our pin cushions. Hi, Colleen. So we can use it in our pin cushions and it won't rust your needles and pins in your pin cushions. So they're just little bags of 200 grams to a few pin cushions. So that, or walnut shells, which you also have. Yeah. Yes, Carleen, after Ollie's lemon tree died from the new neighbours, I had to give in and plant my own. So it's taken me a couple of years to get my own lemons. So it's nice to have them. Yes, that'd be great. Thanks, Cindy. Hi, Denise. Hi, Judy. So, yeah, wool batting. I'm assuming, because seeing the batting, the toy fill comes in the same options as the waddings from Vic Textiles. Again, all made in Australia and Australian wool and made in Geelong, we talked about last week. That it's pretty much whatever goes in the waddings you can have in the toy fill. It just hasn't been punched into the flat wadding. This is probably the raw ingredient that they then use to make the waddings. Hi, Jane. Mountain gin, ocean gin, and meadow gin can still taste the roses out of the meadow gin. Interesting. There you go. From which brewery, distillery, Jane? Was it a Tasmanian one? Hi, Jeanette. Hi, Susan. Home in time to listen. Hi, Shelley. Yeah, so that's the toy fill I forgot last week. I will put that in the links later. And then all I brought to show you tonight. So we've been having to do a little bit of electrical work at the shop and had to get up in the roof. In fact, we had to take the whole roof off to get the electrical work done. Not the whole roof, but the whole flat roof over a particular part. And to get to where we had to get, poor electrician, who thankfully is the partner of one of my girls, hi Denise, had to move. The loft is our storage area. So there's like 100 boxes of books up there and all our props for gatherings and whole heaps of things up there. So he had to move all those boxes so he could get to where the electrical wires went through. So in doing so, it reminded me how many boxes of books are stored up there that you could all be enjoying, rather than me having to just store them up there. So I thought I would show you my latest book, which is a few years old, but it's the last book that I did, because there's so much work that goes into a book and for so little return that it sort of takes a whole year out of your life. So I haven't done a book for some time, and I don't intend on doing one for some time. Although I would love to have an EPP one, because I've got everything else. I've got colour K, I've got applique, and I've got stitchery and embroidery. So I would like to have an EPP one. But anyway, maybe when I retire. Hi, Lynn. So I thought we'd visit the Simply Redwork one. And I hunted around with Donna today for as many of the samples, because I haven't seen them for some time. They're all there somewhere. Could not find a whole heap of them. In fact, some I don't recall seeing ever since the book came out. I'm just wondering if they ever came back from America. But I know there are some more there that I couldn't find. So I thought first of all we'll go through it, and then, because there's so many projects in this, and then I brought some of the projects home to show you. So just a bit of a show and tell for what's in the book. And then I'm just going to demonstrate Dasher and Fisher Tasmanian Gin Devonport. Oh, I haven't tried that one. I haven't ventured that far. Well, I mean, I have been to Devonport, but not to a distillery up there. Dasher and Fisher Tasmanian Gin. I haven't seen it at any of the little ginnery events down here either. Oh, I need to zoom out. It's behaving a bit slowly today. Okay, ignore all the rubbish that's around there. Oh, now, and remember, we have a new secret word tonight to get your bubble in the hi Diane, to get your bubble in the jar. There's a new secret word. Okay, so you need to guess the secret word. I might not do that all week, because we ended up last week having like 300 comments of single words of what you were trying to guess, and it's just one word, remember. Okay. Gosh, that smoke is thick. It's going straight into my throat when I breathe. I don't think I'll be able to hide the fact that it happened before Shed Guy gets home. I might not get away with that. Anyway, so the book is called Simply Redwork, and it's got how many? It's got stacks of projects in it, because they wanted heaps. I'm going to read my dedication. I must have written this. This book is dedicated to the many passionate and addicted stitchers across the world who, just like me, love the therapy of handwork. You stitch with me each night through the wonders of Facebook and Instagram, and share your passion through your lovely emails and face-to-face classes, connecting us through this common love as I sit in my studio at the bottom of the world. Okay. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 projects in the book. Great value. You see, I could sell 19 separate patterns and make a lot more than I make out of. Oh, well, that was too easy, wasn't it? Far too easy. Out of doing one book. Oh, and look how young and thin I looked there. All right, so the main project in there was this penny square quilt, like so very typical traditional redwork, but in my way, which had 16 different little stitcheries in it that you could use for anything. That one I couldn't find. Then, okay, so we had this little zipper pouch. So there was projects from really quick, simple gifts and usable things up to more adventurous. So this little zipper pouch using some like canvas toweling, so some of the motor toweling, something like that, and then just linen. And I'll talk about the threads in a minute that I use for redwork. So that's just a very quick, simple zipper pouch. Had that one. Then, oh, I didn't find this one, but that was just a little redwork framed piece, primitive sort of look. I think I tea stained or coffee stained the backing fabric for that. And then this little one is quite sweet. And I've got that one here, but I just have to put it together because it came apart. We really should. I need to get my pliers and bend it so it stays together. So just 3 little, I'm going to switch back to the front one. Oh, I still need to hand it up. So 3 little mini wall hangings on this little triple stand, which is quite sweet. Let's go back to this. I'll lay it down so you can see it. Okay, so there's this little stand, and then there's these 3 little ones. Now this is so fine, I did it in single strand because it's really quite fine and dainty. So there's that one. Redwork is a nice change. It's very relaxing because you don't have to think about color or anything. So yeah, Redwork is nice. So, and the whole reason I remembered this is because I noticed we still have a few of these stands left. Now, I don't think they're on the website. If they are, I didn't find them, or I didn't put the link in. So there's a couple of the smaller ones, and then we also have the triple sets of the bigger ones, which fit the thought of the months or any little thing you want to do in there. So, yeah, if you've got the book and you never got the stand, we won't be getting these again. So I think there was 2 or 3 left there at the shop. And just put a comment if you want one of those. Because, yeah, they really are sweet. But you could use those stitcheries in anything. And a little gift you want. Okay, what comes next? So there they are, bigger. This one was this little spring clip, and that one is pinned on there. This little spring clip pouch, which has got hexies on the back, and you might recognize that. So it sort of fits the collection of Tomorrow Traveller and Le Fur Tote and Two Fruits, all that collection there, similar sort of thing. That's been done in a pearl thread. And then there's this little tiny purse we'll see later. So a little tiny purse. Oh, they had a miniature show, did they? I didn't see that, Melissa. Which one did you test? This one? Oh, I can't remember. Maybe this one, Cheryl, was it? Don't know. Or the little purse. And that's single strand as well because it's very, very dainty. Okay. Then we had, oh, yes, we had just like a supper cloth and napkins. So this is like a little supper cloth or a little tablecloth, and quite traditional. So traditional Redwork with the basket, a lot of baskets in Redwork in the traditional version, and a lot of this sort of work in there as well. And then it's got a method in there where you use the backing and you bring it to the front and you stitch the corners in a special way, trim and stitch the corners in a special way, so when they come to the front they're nice and stitched and mitered, and you stitch it down. So that's a really cool, and I learned that on my TAFE course in the drafting section like 30 years ago, and I used to always have the pattern in my folder of how to do it and how to do the measurements, and I've lost it. I've taken it out and not put it back in. So the last time I tried to remember how to do that, I couldn't. But now that's reminded me that the instructions are in this book. Yes, please, to a 4 stand. The small or the large one, Jane? Just put large stand or small stand in there. And then Joe will know which one. So there's also the little napkins using the same nifty little corner. So if you've never done that method of the back coming to the front and making the miter corner really all sewn before you turn it through and folded, like when you do a wool embroidered blanket or something, then check out that method because that's really good. And it is actually the correct way that you do it. Traditionally they would have done for blankets and things. Okay, this one is a Christmas tree, and I do have this one here. So it's on sort of like a seeded natural linen. Not like one we have now, though. I had some of it, and it was lovely. And again, I've used the pearl thread, so it's just a single strand and all back stitch, but then satin stitch all the little berries. So if I hold that up there. That's quite fun to stitch, and it's a nice little Christmas. You wouldn't have to frame it. You could put in anything for Christmas. Yes, Fiona. And my special offer tonight is if you buy the book, we will include the iron-on transfers for free, because there isn't. You can obviously trace it, cut it out, take the pages out and trace it in full size, but we do have an iron-on transfer set. So with everyone that orders the book tonight, we'll include the transfers as well. Okay. See, aren't I generous? Probably because we've got 20 boxes of these. And as I said, Redwork is so relaxing. This is just 3 tiny little framed, very tiny. Couldn't find those ones. I'm going to have to search for those. And they were just frames, I don't know, from a cheap shop or something. And they're only like about 2 inch by 3 inch. So they're really tiny and very quick to do. It's $32.95. And yes, you get the transfers, which are normally another 20, I think. So you're getting those for free. Okay, so those little minis, they're a nice little gift, or just something quick and simple to do. Now these cushions, I didn't find those either. No idea where they are. But anyway, some decorator cushions just with some curtain fabric, I think it was, or decorator fabric. And then the linen. This little iPad pouch, should I find that? No, I didn't find that either. Gosh, they must all be somewhere together. So that was a little iPad pouch. And I have to say, the little stitchery design that's on the front of it, it was inspired by, I was getting out of a lift in the city one day, getting into a lift, and a signed book. Oh, yes. Okay, I'll remember that, Liz, to you, obviously. Anyway, there was this young girl that got in the lift with a very short skirt, and very short skirt, so much that I could see 2/3 of a tattoo on her thigh. I think it was fairly fresh because it was a bit red. Anyway, I couldn't stop looking at it, which I know is really rude, but it was just us two in the lift, and I said, I said, oh, would you mind if I take a photo of your tattoo? Because I just really liked it. And anyway, she started chatting and she was lovely, and she let me take a photo of it. And that was the inspiration. Hers had a silhouette in the middle. The tattoo had a silhouette in the middle that meant something, but I just liked the frame and that around it. So I used that as my inspiration. So you just never know where you're going to get the inspiration for something from, even if it means, if my girls had been with me, they would have rolled their eyes and told me to be quiet and chastised me for the rest of the day. How dare I ask to take a photo with someone's tattoo underneath their skirt? But anyway, sometimes you just got to ask this. You could have said no. So yes. Okay. So whatever's in there, Joe I'll probably just sign them all. It might be easier if I just sign them all, unless you're giving it to someone else and you don't want it signed to you. I think I left a little spot for signing. Yes, there's plenty of space there for signing. Because if I die next year, it could be worth money. Okay, now this cushion, this was probably the most popular thing in the book, and I did find that. So this is the Ramblin' Rose cushion, and it's just all over stitched. And honestly, it took so much thread, and I used pearl thread, so Cottage Garden pearl thread. So it took a lot. And anyway, so these little berries are chain stitched, and these leaves are like a fly stitch leaf, but not a tightly packed one, a little bit open. So you get the shape, but it's a little bit open. I'm glad they're a little bit open, otherwise I'd have used twice as much thread. So a fly stitch leaf is actually quite tricky to get a nice shape. So I thought that's what I would demo tonight, how to do a fly stitch leaf like that. You know how good I am and how nice I am. Yes, okay. Okay, Fiona. Maybe I'll ask ChatGPT what I should write to you and see what they say about Fiona Bill. So I'm going to demonstrate that one. So that's another cushion that's in the book. And for that one, a transfer would be really handy, except you don't want to really see the line around the outside of it. So I'm not quite sure what I did on the transfer there. Okay. And then another cushion here, and this is actually something that my daughter Molly did for me as a gift. because she can stitch a little bit. So she took a photograph. So it's just got the instructions how to do it for yourself. She took a photograph of the house and printed it in black and white, and then just put a bit of tracing paper over the top and just sort of drew the outlines of the house. So it was similar, but without all the detail, and then traced that onto the fabric and stitched it. So that is actually, so that would be a nice gift to someone for their new house or something too. So that is my house stitched in Redwork. But I just sort of showed you how you could do that, and it'd be great, as I said, for a gift for someone moving into their new house, or anything. Like if you know what colour their decor and that is, you could just sneaky snap a picture of the front of their house, and what a special gift that would be when it's their own house. And particularly, a lot of people get their houses painted or sketched or drawn. Well, I couldn't do that, so this is an easy way to doing it. Oh, okay, Fiona, I'll put that into chat BP2 and see if they agree. See you later. Okay, so there was that cushion. That was just a simple framed thing. I couldn't find that either. I know it is there somewhere. Might be up at the top on the wardrobe. Here's our little purse that we looked at before. So it is a tiny little purse, and we did the purse frames last week, remember? So that one fits a little purse frame. This is a big tote bag. Now, this is the one that I don't recall seeing at all since the samples came back from America. So it's quite large. Like it was quite a, well, it's 15 inches by 6 deep by 15 high. So 15 inches square and then 6 deep, 6 inches wide. We just had the Redwork on the front of it, and then some nice coordinating fabrics. But I don't know where that is. Might be lost forever. This is another zipper pouch. Didn't find that either. So it's like a half moon zipper pouch with hexies on the top, hexies there, and then the Redwork. Social stitching pouch with the lace zip. So that's in there. And all the instructions on how to put it together. Another cushion. This is very popular because it comes together very quickly and it's a bit more modern. And that one I actually used a Pearl 5 thread, so a thicker, chunkier thread. Yeah, see there? So it's sort of like more modern designs, quite simple, but I used a thicker 5 weight pearl thread and probably a chenille needle to stitch that one. And that might be about all the samples that I found. Oh gosh, here's a little mug bag there. I'd forgotten about that one. Didn't find that. So that's like a drawstring top mug bag with hexies and a little bit of Redwork on it. Oh, just a little heart decoration, Christmas decoration, or a tag. Must have been running out of things to do. And then it's got the Redwork basics, hexies, all your basic instructions in there as well, until we get to the tear out pattern sheets. But as I said, if you order it tonight, we'll throw in the iron-on transfers for free. But that's perforated there, and that tears out, and then you've got full size pattern sheets there that you can trace. Yeah. Okay, so there's an awful lot in that book. As I said, 19 projects, something to suit everyone, or just designs that you can use for another project that you're doing. Okay, so I brought this home, but that's actually not in the book. There you go. That must have been for something else. That might have been in Quilt Mania. I don't know that one. If it's not in the book we thought it was, then it's not. So that is that. So I wanted to talk a little bit about threads. So for Redwork, I like to use a variegated thread. I just think it adds a lot of texture and dimension and a little bit of interest to Redwork. So I think pretty much everything Redwork ever I've done, just about, I've used a variegated thread. And I started out using a DMC 115, but we had a lot of issues with that bleeding. As you know, red is the first one that the first color that will bleed, and it's very hard for all the companies to work with. So DMC 115 variegated garnet, and then Cottage Garden. We did a collaboration years ago, and I said, "Can you dye me a similar color?" They took a long time to perfect it because, again, she said the red is the hardest one to dye, and a variegated red, and it very easily goes to a pinky purple instead of just a dark red. So there was quite a few fails until we got to it, and now it is still their best-selling thread, the 1007, and it comes in the stranded or in a pearl 12. And it's dyed on a Presentia base thread, which, as you know, Presentia 16 pearls is what I use for most things. But I don't like the Presentia variegated red. It's horrible. It's too short. It goes too black, and it's stop and start, and it's too obvious where it changes. Otherwise, I would use that because Presentia are 100%, well, they're bleach proof in most cases, but definitely dye proof, run proof. Now, a lot of people, I've used thousands of Hugs and Kisses Cottage Garden threads, but a lot of people have issues with it bleeding, and it's happened to me as well. But they will tell you, Katie will tell you, it's not in here. Aftercare instructions: wash in hot water, rinse, and air dry. So if it runs when you wash it, then the dye that runs is the dye that didn't set when they made the thread. And if it didn't set in the first setting of it, it will never set. So that means if it runs into your fabric, it's not set there. You just need to wash it again and give it a good soak and then air dry it very quickly so it's not sitting wet. So they say wash in hot water, and that will get out of any extra leftover dye that didn't set. Rinse it well and then air dry it so it dries quickly. Whereas if you just spray it and leave it there wet, it's just going to bleed into your fabric, but it will come out again. So they will tell you. So a lot of people do rinse it in really hot water first, or just to get any excess dye out of it. But yeah, if you've done your whole quilt and it's run and you call me in tears because you've just ruined all your work, and I have it several times, then don't panic because Katie from Cottage Garden, she guarantees that if you can't get it out, she will. That if it's run, then it's dye that didn't set in the process, and it won't set. It will only set once in that first one. Yes, a colour catcher. I would always wash it with a colour catcher, Peter, as well. So hi, Julia, late again. Never mind. So that's the Cottage Garden one. But then several years ago, I also worked with Lycian with their, I was doing a lot of work with them when there was Lycian USA Cosmo, and they asked if I would design some threads in their seasons range, and I said I would if they gave me my red. So seasons 5006, the Cosmo thread from Lycian Japan, is my version of like a variegated red. This one is color fast, so and obviously cheaper, but it is a stranded thread, so you can't get it in a pearl. And sometimes a pearl is nice. So the 5006 or the 1007 are the threads that I pretty much use for Redwork now exclusively. Very occasionally I will just use a plain red, but I've usually got something else with it. Okay, and hoops that I use. So you'll notice in most things that I just use these cheap plastic hoops. And I just want to go through once again how to use them, okay, before we go through to it. So there's two parts to the plastic hoop, and the inner part has got this little ridge on the top. Don't know if you can see that. If I hold it that way, you can see it's got that little ridge there on the top. Let me see what angle. Hang on, get my angle right. There, can you see that there's a little lip on that side? And on the top, this one says top. Some brands say this side up. So it's all there for you, okay? Late chicken berry for a short break. How nice, Catherine. Would you wash the thread before using? Some people do like to, Denise. Yeah, some people like to. I never have, but some people do like to. I wouldn't wash this one, but the cottage garden or any other hand-dyed thread. Possibly, if you'd like to, yeah, just soak it in really hot water with a colour catcher and get as much out of it as you can. Okay, so it says top or this side up, so that makes it really easy for you. Just remember that and sit that on your space, your table or whatever, with the bit that says top to the top. Okay, then you take your piece of stabilized fabric with your design transferred on it. Could be stabilized with a stabilizer, a Hugs and Kisses stabilizer, or a Helen or a Parlan, whatever you're using, and put that on top of that inner ring. Then open up your outer ring and pop it over it, and then push it down until that little lip pokes out the top. Tighten it up. And then pull it a bit firmer. And tighten it up again. Then put a needle in there. Okay, and then so you can see that little lip has popped out the top, which is jamming the fabric between the two rings with this little lip there that jams it in tight, and you can pull it really tight. So the hoops were originally designed to use for punch needle, and punch needle, when you do punch needle, you need to stretch the fabric really tight so that the weave opens up, and you punch the thread through it, and when you let it go and the weave closes up again, it locks the little loops in. So they're designed to hold it really, really firmly. Now, you don't need it drum tight for when you're doing embroidery, but for punch needle you do, but it's just handy. These ones, great for displaying if that's all you've got, the wooden ones, but they break really easy if you over tighten them. They can just strip out, and yeah, and they can absorb the oils in your hands and get dirty and all sorts of things. So great for display or for a single use, but these are great. And I just get a 6-inch. I use a 6-inch, sometimes a 4 for a tiny bit, or every now and then an 8, but I've got short fat fingers, so I need to be able to reach the middle. So a 6-inch, if you see it was an 8-inch, I'd barely be able to reach the middle. So that's what I use that for. Okay, so I'm going to draw my leaf. Okay, and I'm just going to give myself an imaginary spine down there as well. And then I'm just going to use stranded thread. And in the original cushion, as I said, I used the pearl, but I've just got a piece of stranded here. And if you weren't watching a couple of weeks ago, we're going to strip the thread, and that means take one out at a time and then lay them back together. So pull up one, straighten it out. The second one, you want to keep them together so that the variegation stays together. If you turn one around, then your variegated is not going to be all the same when we're using a variegated thread. And if you want to be really pedantic, when you cut your piece off your skein and say we start at the end that we didn't cut, that we pulled off, then the next time start at the opposite end. So where you cut your strip in the variegation, so say I cut in the middle of there, first one start here, second one start at the opposite end, so that you're starting in the same tone of color. Otherwise, in some where it's a really obvious variegation, you can see where you stopped and started your thread because it's actually totally changed color. There's a sudden change. So you just turn it around and start from the other end of the thread. All right. Sorry, I just had some messages coming through that required a drink. It's okay. Okay, so we start up at the top point. Now, do I need to zoom in a bit? I think I need to zoom in a bit so you can see. Oops, where did you go? I just shut you down. So my daughter's here. Oh, hang on a minute. I'll check that in a minute. Right there. Birthday with a 3-night stay in Berry. Oh, that's lovely, Catherine. Oh, I didn't realise. Okay. Right, so we start at the top. I've knotted my thread. And the first stitch is sort of the hardest because we want to come just below it and then down into the centre. So come up. So we're doing a fly stitch, remember? So if you don't remember a fly stitch is like a Y. So we come up, go down, come up there, and then go like that. So it's like a Y, okay? Or an open lazy daisy could also be, or half of a feather stitch. So we'll come up at the point and then put the needle in just below it, really close, just below it, and then come down into our V. Pull it through with a thread below the needle. And then remember this one, I'll get my cushion. In this instance, I haven't got them close together. I've got a gap. But what we want to aim to do is to keep the angle of our V even all the way down. Okay, so we need a nice deep V at the top so we got somewhere to move as we come down. But we want to keep the angle sort of the same all the way down. So I'm going to come down just enough to be able to keep an angle still. And now we start our Ys. So we can go equal side on there and then up in the middle. So pretty much the same hole as where we went down before. Okay, and go further down, up on the side. This is looking a little chunkier because I'm using 3 strands, whereas I just used a single strand of the 12-weight pearl. So that's only equivalent to about 1.5 strands. So it's a bit finer. Just keeping my gap about the same each time, but also keeping the angle of my V, or the top of the Y, fairly consistent as I go down. I'm using my finger underneath to push that needle back up so I'm not stab stitching. And trying to keep a nice smooth edge around here. I just used a washout pen or a fade out pen, so it's a fairly thick line. If you've got your transfer or your trace, it won't be quite so thick. And now we want to get a bit of a rounded bottom, so we come in a bit smaller here, but still try and keep that angle the same. And then you'd go on, what did I have? I had a stem stitch. So either a back stitch or a stem stitch, or in a smaller one, you'd just do a single straight stitch for your stem into wherever it leads. Okay, so does that look like a leaf? Looks like a leaf with a nice curl here. And there's a fly stitch leaf. So if you want to make it go, closer and thicker, then you just obviously go really close. Do you want me to do another one? I'll do a smaller one, but closer. So it's like completely filled in. I'm just going to jump up here. I like to put a little curl on the top rather than just a straight one, which is why I put that little curl there. Okay, so I'm going to go right below it and then come down to my center spine. And it gives you what do you call it? It's like a 6, like a little 6 like that. I've come up there, gone back down, sort of straight below it, and then straight below there where my spine would be, and it gives like a little number 6. Okay, so I need to go in. And now if I want it stacked closer together, then I go right up next to it. But again, remember to try and keep the angle of your Y or your V, because we're not actually making a Y this time because we're not having a gap in between. So we're not doing that long stroke there. So you can sort of get this effect on a tight leaf with a fly stitch or a fern stitch. There's a few different stitches that you can, a leaf stitch, some of them are called, to get like a filled in leaf with a spine down the middle. Sometimes it's nice to have a curved spine down the middle, so you end up, let me see if I can curve this a bit to show you what I mean. Make sure I'm staying on camera. Hello to Mum if you're watching. Don't know if you are. And I want to do my couple of shorter ones underneath to get a nice curved bottom of the leaf. There you are. That's a nice shaped leaf, isn't it? Just done quickly, so there may be a few gaps in there, but it doesn't really matter if there is. A couple of gaps in there. Just done quickly. So anyway, there you are. A fly stitch leaf, which when used in this cushion, I can zoom out. Where's my zoomer gone? Yeah, it's actually just sort of a trailing vine with the berries. Even the leaves aren't, they're just sitting on their own. They're not even trailing in. Looking at that now, I think now I would actually I'd extend those stems so they join up to something and they're not just floating in midair. But anyway, obviously that was what I wanted to do at the time. You can't on the screen, you can't notice it, can you? They look like they're all belonging to the vine, but up close, I can see that it would have been nice to bring the stem down into that stem. But anyway, we always think of different things afterwards. So yeah. Okay, and if you haven't done that before, if you make this cushion, by the time you get to the end of it, you'll be a pro. But yes, the variegation does. It just gives it depth and movement, and makes it look much more interesting than just a flat red thread, which is why I like to use them. Now, the only other thing I would mention last week, I said that we had these. I put them on the website, our little scissors, and I've got 5 different colours. So these went with the little strawberry scissor keep, but they don't have to. And we've got 5 different colours of them. I just zoom in a bit again. Okay, so there's my orange Karen K Buckleys. So they're dwarfed from them. Or there's my hand. So they're about 2 inches long, really quite sharp. So they're good for little, just your little scissors to have. I've got fat fingers and I can fit my fingers in there. And so there's I think that's called brown, antique bronze, gold, silver, and grey, which is just like an antique-y silver. So they're the colours that are on there, and I'll pop that link in a minute. Now, if you weren't here earlier on, I showed you the Simply Redwork book, and the deal tonight was if you order the book, you get the iron-on transfers for free with it, so you don't have to trace. You can gently. You can just iron them on. Sorry, I just missed a few comments there. Let me go back. The demo makes it look easy. It's all just one stitch at a time, I say. You're welcome, Chris. Sign booked, Carleen. Yes. Karen, hello. Yep, watch it on replay. Jo will check the messages if she's back at work tomorrow. If not, she'll get to it when she gets to it. So don't panic if you don't get an invoice sent to you tomorrow, because she may still be off sick. I'm not sure how long she's going to need. And we also have Simply Charmed and Stitch's Garden going out as from today, auto charge today. So it's hit the same timer again. So yes, if you want to order a book, then you'll get the free transfers with it, and might empty one box out of my loft. So the poor electrician, or actually poor shed guy, when he gets back up there to put it all back in place, he'll have one box less to do. I have a Bentley Pooch. Oh, you have a Bentley too. Toy Poodle Cross Chihuahua. Oh, I don't know what he was barking at. But anyway, he's been very good up until then. Okay, so I think that's it for tonight. Bit of a shorter session. Well, not really. That's 10 to 8. And I have lots to do with the quilts being due in by tomorrow. That's not going to be ready, I don't think. Yes, list account next stock take. I actually think we might have forgotten what was in the loft. But anyway, yeah. All right, so I think you all got my secret word tonight, didn't you? I think there's plenty in the jar to draw a winner. Okay, get a winner. Melissa, I know you're still there. You just commented. Yes, you're still there. All right, shoot Jo a message, or you may have already just ordered a book. I can't remember if you did or not, but you are still there, and she'll put it in with whatever else you got and get something out to you. Okay, so I think that's it for tonight. Nice to chat with you all. Nice to see you're all happy and healthy. Okay, Jane, that's no problem. She can add that in if she gets to the bottom of the list of comments. And we will see you all again next week. Yes, you can just buy the transfers, Anita. Just put that in there. You can just get the transfers. Much easier. I'm not sure if they're $15 or $20, but yeah, worth it. Okay. All right. Catch you all next week. If there's anything in particular you want demoed, I should have these quilts finished so I can have some time to get something organized maybe. And I shouldn't put such deadlines on myself. And other than that, I don't think there's anything else I need to say, except that, yes, if you're a Stitches Gardener or a Simply Charmer, your credit card should have been charged in the last couple of days, and they're all packed ready to go when Jo's back on deck to ship them out. If you have been charged and you don't get your email in the next couple of days to choose, then just drop us a quick message and we can give you the link that way. Other than that, have a great weekend. It's birthday weekend here for me. Not for me, but for a child. And so, yeah, we'll be enjoying that. After our French dinner party last weekend, which went very well. Thank you very much. All right. Yep, catch the replay, Marion. All right. I'm going to choke on this smoke a bit more, open some more windows, and see you then. Good night.